Hi everybody, I decided to do a live video today for today's Update Tuesday card. I hope you all are having a great day so far. So far so good here. I'm gonna pull up my video just to make sure everything is showing so you can see everything. So in today's update video, update email, there were 3 different projects. One was a banner, one was a mini pizza box that was covered, and one was this super adorable card. And they were all made with the Above the Clouds stamp set. But I just loved this card because they did some no-line watercoloring, and that is something that I need to work on. So I thought, well, what perfect way to do that than to make a card and practice in front of everyone to show everyone it's not necessarily as hard as you think it is. It's pretty easy. I'm not the best at it. That's why I need practice. So that's why I thought this would be a great way to practice, would be to do one of these videos. Hi Fran, how are you? Thank you for joining me. So the 2 ink colors that we used for this are Puppy Parade and Sahara Sand. I'm gonna set the card over here just so you can still see it, but it's out of the way. And I'm gonna pull out what I made, a tiny little template. And the reason I made a template is because the punch that goes with the Above the Clouds, the hot air balloon punch, as you can see, punches the basket and a banner at the same time. So if you wanna be able to stamp and then punch out your banner and your balloon and your basket at the same time, you kind of need a template to use before you stamp. So this piece of paper is shimmery white. You use either shimmery white or Fluid 100 watercolor paper for your watercoloring. And I can't find my shimmery white. I forgot where I put it. It should be in my brand new paper, organized paper shelf, and it's not there. So before I started, I made sure I had laid my, and I guess I'll just do this to show you exactly what I did. Once I laid my template down over my paper, I laid my stamps on there as well. And then after they were in the places that they need to be, then you just take your stamp, pick them up. You can remove your template at that point because now these are gonna punch out perfectly with that punch. So when I stamped with the Sahara Sand, I stamped once, and then I'm gonna show you a little visual. I stamped once on my paper here, then I stamped again, and that's what I got, this dark. And then when you stamp off one more time, it's extremely light, which is exactly what you want because that gives you, you can barely see it, but that will give you your no-line watercolor. It's easy for me to see where I'm at, not necessarily as easy for you to see. So I'm gonna stamp off once on my paper. I'm gonna stamp off a second time, and then I'm gonna stamp it onto my shimmery white. And now you might be able to just barely see that. It's pretty light, but it's just dark enough to do the watercoloring with. And that's where the no line comes in because your other colors will kind of go over those. So before you start, take your ink pads and kind of squish them. That gives you some ink. I'm gonna move this card out of the way before I end up inking it up. That gives you that little puddle of ink that you have there. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this. If I can get it back open again now, with my Sahara Sand. Take your aqua pen, and I always make sure I have a piece of paper towel folded up next to me so I can squish, to wipe the brush off from onto if you want to, and just to make sure you have water in your, kind of just squish it out and then take some of it off because you don't want it super watery. So I'm gonna start with the Sahara Sand, and I actually used to have quite a bit of water on that. But you're just gonna watercolor, wash it in, take some of that water off if you don't want it to be super runny. Now, I noticed when I did it earlier, I kind of got, some of my colors ran together. I think I just had a little bit too much water in it, but that's okay. It's watercoloring. You're gonna end up with things like that happening. I kind of outline a little bit and then I color it in and kind of go over that it will. And if you have too much water, just dab it with your paper towel. That's another good reason to have your paper towel right there. Now, I'll post all the measurements and everything on my blog a little bit later today. Hi, Kathy, how are you? But for now, I'm just going to give you the techniques, color those in a little bit. Now, in their photo, their watercoloring is perfect, of course. Mine is not so perfect, and that's okay. Like I said, this is something I am practicing on, so the more I do it, the better I'm gonna get. And I feel like if I had some of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper in front of me, maybe this would look just a little bit better. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like watercoloring on this paper. It's not a problem. It's just I'm wondering if they used maybe the Fluid 100 watercolor paper and it might not spread as much on that. I'm not sure. I don't know because I haven't tried it yet. And like I said, I can't find my pack of it that I bought. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the Poppy Parade. And I love these aqua painters because you can just you can almost just write with them. Hi, Christine, how are you? And again, like I said, mine is not going to be perfect. My lines are not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It's just watercoloring, and watercoloring is not always perfect, and if it is, then you are a fantastic watercolorer, and my props go to you because I am not a fantastic watercolorer. Hence the practice. This is why I'm practicing in front of the world even. All right, just get each little section colored in. I love the way Poppy Parade looks with the Sahara sand. And now once it's done, you're gonna have to let it dry for a little while, which I did. I already have one colored in that we can just punch out. Which is perfect because you don't want to punch it when it's too wet. Even though it punches, over to the side, it's not like right on the image. You still don't want to punch it out when it's too wet. Okay, so now that you just have everything colored in, just gonna punch it out. The only ink I need again will be this Sahara sand, so I'm gonna leave that open for now. I'm gonna set my watercolor brush aside, my aqua painter. If you don't have the aqua painters, you need to get some. They are great. And I have my pre-colored, and I did it a couple times. Like once this dries, if you go over it again, you can make the color darker just like this one is. Just go over it again with your colors and it'll make it darker. Take our piece of Sahara sand cardstock, fold it in half on the score line. Make sure you have your bone folder. I love using the bone folder. It really does give it a good crease. On the back of both of these, you'll put some dimensionals. And then we also have some other pieces cut out. We have a small stitch circle. We have this, I don't know, stitched label, I guess is what I'll call it. And these stitched hearts, and these are all from the stitched label dies. Love these dies. These are fantastic. And especially this little circle because our stitch circles don't have one that is this small. So when you have this extra stitch circle to use, it's just perfect. Because we're going to take that circle and we're going to stamp the Hi Friend in the center of it. And that is what is on the front of the card. I'll put the card out here so y'all can see it again. Take the stitch label, we will go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of it as well. Just a couple. And then for the hot air balloon, we'll go ahead and put a couple at the top. Hi Donna, how are you? And we will put a mini one at the bottom. Of the hot air balloon. It's kind of where the ropes are on the hot air balloon. One for the basket. And then I put one on each of the back of these hearts. I think on the card, after I looked at it a little closer, I think they had them just glued down flat, but I kind of liked them popped up like that. So for the center inside of the card, we're going to stamp these clouds that are from the Above the Clouds stamp set. I don't think I've even shown the stamp set yet, but I will when I get this card finished. And I just made the clouds Sahara sand. That way they just match the card perfectly. You could use any color that you want, but I just chose to go ahead and use the Sahara sand. Why not just have it all kind, since it's kind of a monotone card. The only thing that really stands out is that Poppy Parade, because they've used Sahara sand for everything else. So you've got your inside of your card. We're gonna first put this stitched label down. Try to get it somewhat straight. I noticed my first one, after I got it done, my label's a little crooked. I'm like, well, it's gonna stay that way because it's already stuck down now, right? Just get the adhesive backings off from all of these. Go ahead and put the basket, basically kind of lay your basket right up against where that is on the bottom of the balloon there where the ropes are, which you probably can't see the ropes from where you're at just because of it being so light, but they are there, I promise. Add the hearts. Use a little bit of snail adhesive on the back of this, if I can get it to come off. There we go. Stick your high friend right there, and then cut a piece of linen thread. Doesn't have to be long, and you could always do this ahead of time, but for some reason I've kind of doing it backwards. I'm lacing it after. Just kind of lace it under, and I just used my not my take your pick tool, but you could use your take your pick tool. If I had mine in front of me, I would be using it. That was my paper piercer. And I'm gonna tie a bow because my bows always end up going upside down from the way I'm trying to tie them. I'll flip it this way because I want my strings going toward this left side of the card. And just trim them off because you don't want them super long, but they don't have to be super short either. I'm not going to trim a whole lot off because they'll still fit in the envelope. And there you have it. That's today's Update Tuesday card. And like I said, I made one earlier, made this one, and then we painted one of these with the no-line watercoloring. And I'll go back, and once this is dry a little bit, I'll make it a little bit darker so it's about the same color as this one. And what I do love about watercoloring on that shimmery white paper is you get a little bit of sparkle in there, which is fantastic when someone gets that card and it's got a little bit of sparkle. So thank you for joining me for today's Update Tuesday video. Like I said, later today I'll be posting a link and all the measurements and written measurements and instructions on my blog. And I will post that here on my group page and on my business page. So you can go check it out and get all the measurements so you can make some of these cute cards for yourself. Thank you. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Bye.